always in handcuffs. So I'm very careful when that guy comes out.
You break out in handcuffs.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, man.
Every time I drink, get ready to get in a fight, I break out in handcuffs. Hey, listen, and it's unfortunately I have to fight and be that guy. I wish I could stop that guy. That guy haunts me. That's I wish I could stop that guy. I wish I could stop that guy. I wish that guy died, but he's here to stay.
Boxing legend Mike Tyson has sent a terrifying warning to Jake Paul ahead of their fight. Paul will challenge Tyson in a professional boxing match, not just an exhibition bout. This means the fight will feature ringside judges and the potential for a knockout. Tyson, now 58 and grappling with various health and mobility issues, is widely seen as past his prime, especially against the 27-year-old Paul, who is in peak physical condition. However, opinions are divided. Former UFC champion and Tyson's close friend, Francis Ngannou, has warned Paul that underestimating Tyson could lead to a brutal knockout, a sentiment Paul dismissed in a defiant tweet. Jake Paul said, "Francis Ngannou told me to my face that Mike Tyson is going to knock me out. Let's see, big man, let's see. You got your own problems ahead." Francis Ngannou, who has spent the past year training with Tyson, firmly believes that Tyson's prowess remains leagues ahead of Paul's abilities. At a media day event for his upcoming PFL return against Renan Ferreira, Ngannou revealed his blunt prediction for the bout to bloody elbow. Ngannou said when asked for his thoughts on the bout, "I think Tyson will still beat his ass up. He's definitely not as he was when he was young, but when he moves around you and shows you something, you're like, what the hell is this?" That's something that people don't understand about Mike Tyson. He moves from your left to your right in the blink of an eye. Ngannou and Paul have arrived in Washington, D.C. to unveil the much-anticipated Battle of the Giants, set for October 19th. The spotlight was on the celebrity boxer yesterday as he hosted the grand launch event. In a dramatic showdown, the reigning MMA heavyweight champion faced off against the imposing 6 feet 8 inches Renan Ferreira. Social media erupted with jokes about Paul seemingly facing off against two colossal opponents in the same weight class despite appearing minuscule in various clips and photos. Paul joined in on the fun himself, humorously suggesting that he would have made a quick exit if the pair had begun any roughhousing. Ngannou noted, "Jake Paul is not in our weight class. We barely noticed that he was there, other than the moment I walked in and shook his hand. But face to face to each other, when I looked into his eyes when I was looking up, I did not see Jake Paul at all. He wasn't in my line." Despite the whirlwind of controversy, Paul stands resolute and excited about taking on a boxing legend. Far from being disheartened, he revels in the defeatist forecasts from high-profile figures such as Ngannou and Randy Couture. "I thrive on it," Paul remarked, embracing Ngannou's harsh prediction for his upcoming bout, which will mark his 4th fight in just 11 months. He added, "It's not going to be an easy fight. I think the first 4 rounds are going to be very difficult for me. And if I can weather the storm of Mike Tyson, the baddest man, hardest puncher on the planet, then I believe I can pull ahead in the later rounds and be able to stop him actually. But Francis is not wrong. I oftentimes get scared of like that one punch, and I have to be alert the whole time." Paul has been on fire lately, racking up 4 victories in the past year. In contrast, Iron Mike hasn't been in a real fight for over 20 years, aside from a 2020 exhibition, and he's even been spotted using a wheelchair from time to time. Given the circumstances, Paul seems to have the upper hand going into this match. Tyson, renowned as one of the all-time greats in boxing, boasts legendary power and a significant size edge over the problem child. Ngannou clearly believes these advantages will enable Tyson to knock out the former Disney star. Yet, Paul dismissed Ngannou's cautionary words in a tweet, subtly issuing his own warning to the predator. Within the same tweet, Paul also cleverly alluded to Ngannou's upcoming opponent, Renan Problema Ferreira, whom the Predator will face in October. Meanwhile, Boxing Kingdom has just revealed that Tyson has sent a brutal message for Paul. They tweeted, "Mike Tyson with a scary warning to Jake Paul. Mike has recently noticed that his second personality, Iron Mike, has returned. Mike said, I'm always careful when that guy comes out. Every time I drink or get ready to fight and Iron Mike returns, I break out in handcuffs. Unfortunately, I have to fight and be that guy. I wish I could stop that guy. That guy haunts me. I wish I could stop that guy. I wish that guy died, but he's here again." Conversely, Tyson appeared on the Impulsive YouTube show, hosted by Logan Paul, Jake Paul's older brother. During the episode, Logan openly shared his anxiety about the possibility of Tyson facing his younger sibling, advising the iconic baddest man on the planet with a tone of genuine concern. Logan admitted he was deeply worried for Tyson, stressing that his foremost wish was for Mike's well-being. He strongly encouraged Tyson to approach Jake with the seriousness the situation demanded.
Love you, Mike.
Same.
And I'm very nervous for you.
Thank you for caring.
I do care. I care about you, and I care about my brother, and I know the path he's on right now, and it's ruthless, Mike.
I agree. It's pretty cool.
It's cool. It's so cool to watch, and he's really crushing it. And I just feel like I want you to be okay in there, Mike.
Tyson emphasized how seriously he regarded Jake, pointing out that while others might underestimate him, he certainly did not. Drawing on his 58 years of life experience, Tyson remarked that everyone has the potential to be lethal, which has instilled in him a deep sense of caution around others. He concluded with a pragmatic view of the upcoming match. Two men would enter the ring. One would emerge victorious, and eventually, they might clash once more before both headed off to their respective banks to carry on with their lives.
And I want you got to take him serious, Mike, because
I take him extremely serious. I take him extremely serious. These people don't take him serious.
No, they don't, and it's such a mistake because he's a real killer, Mike. Like, he wanted to be a Navy SEAL before he started boxing. Like in high school, he wants to be a Navy SEAL. He wanted to go kill people on behalf of his country.
I'm fearful of my 13-year-old son. And this is what I learned through my 58 years of experience. What my experience is, that anyone's capable of killing you. In my life and the way I lived my life and what I've seen, anyone's capable of killing you. So you should be apprehensive for anyone. That's just my life, the life that I live. Everyone around me, anybody I know is capable of killing you. Even if I don't know you, that's how I look at people. They're all capable of killing you. So I look at them at that, and I my objectives like this. So they're capable of killing me. I don't sleep on them. I'm not overconfident with anybody in life.
During the interview, Tyson confessed that his limited boxing experience is precisely what distinguishes him from Jake Paul's previous challengers. He openly admitted seeing Jake as a formidable force, underlining that this was strictly his own viewpoint. Tyson dared anyone questioning his age and capability to voice their doubts to his face. He highlighted the contrast between himself and Jake's former opponents, noting that while they lacked fear or hesitation, he approached the fight with both apprehension and fear, elements he believed set him apart from the rest.
Is Mike.
That's how I look at him.
And he's getting like better and better. It's crazy.
I know this. I know that's why I got to get him before he gets too good.
You're right.
Yeah.
The ex-heavyweight champion, once revered as the most feared man on earth, could be gambling everything by returning to the ring. Yet, when pressed on Sunday about his choice to face Jake Paul, he didn't hesitate with his reply. "Because I can. Who else can do it but me? Who else is he going to fight to make this happen?" Tyson said, motioning toward the crowd at a packed press conference where fans cheered the former heavyweight champion and booed Paul. He added, "We've just got to listen to the facts. We've got a YouTuber fighting the greatest fighter that ever lived." Tyson said he felt good and had resumed exercising 2 or 3 weeks earlier. "Hey, listen, I'm just ready," Tyson said. Between 1987 and 1990, Tyson dominated the heavyweight boxing scene as the undisputed champion. Even after retiring in 2005, he stunned the world with a comeback in 2020 for an exhibition bout against Roy Jones Jr. His return has reignited fan fervor, creating such a buzz that many were left disappointed on Sunday when an overflowing crowd at the press conference for his last appearance at the Fanatics Fest in New York led to numerous attendees being turned away. Paul exchanged blows with the combatant on the other side of the platform as well as the hecklers. Paul said, "Hey New York, you're just like Mike Tyson. You were good 20 years ago." Tyson's peak is clearly in the past, and Paul knows that defeating a once great fighter who's past his prime won't win him much acclaim. Yet, the former Disney Channel star, who asserts with unwavering confidence that he's meant to become a boxing champion, still sees significant worth in facing Tyson in the ring even now. When Tyson had to pull out, he was replaced by a formidable opponent, bare-knuckle fighting champ Mike Perry, who took to the ring on July 20th. In a gripping contest, Perry fell to defeat in the 6th round. Much like others who have squared off against Paul, Perry comes from a mixed martial arts background rather than a boxing pedigree. Now, he's eagerly anticipating a rematch, having initially set his sights on battling Tyson. Paul said to Tyson, "I was ready before, you needed a little break. Your tummy still hurts?" The much-anticipated Netflix broadcasted clash promises to be an official bout, with 8 intense 2-minute rounds and gloves that pack more weight than usual. Yet, the true essence of boxing may well be captured in the preceding event. Paul is set to highlight his ambitions in boxing, while Tyson is ready to demonstrate the formidable skills he once held. Despite his health setbacks, he remains confident that they won't impede his performance. Tyson said, "I had a small adversity. I got sick, but I'm better. I feel good." Carl Froch, meanwhile, thinks Tyson isn't acting sincere in the lead-up to his bout with Jake Paul. Nonetheless, Froch has insisted that the fight between Tyson and Paul isn't meant to be taking place. He said, "Mike Tyson, I think he is just playing his role. In my opinion, Mike Tyson has probably got the script. Because when I saw that press conference, there was a half-hearted shove. Jake Paul stood there stern-looking and didn't even say anything, so to me it all just looked contrived and fake." At 58, he continues to post training videos that highlight the formidable strength he once commanded during his peak years. Despite his efforts to demonstrate his enduring prowess, there remains significant opposition to his comeback fight, his first since retiring in 2005. Froch said, "I just think it is a shame that Tyson is getting in the ring with this idiot fake Paul. It is just a clown world. It shouldn't be happening. I don't like it, but I hope Tyson can go in there and not get hurt and make a few quid. Rather than inflicting further harm by dragging someone into the fray, it's evident that the damage is already done. The goal here isn't to revel in Mike Tyson's past tribulations, but to minimize their impact, keeping him focused and prepared for the challenges of fight night." This tactic parallels how reality show contestants were once deceived by the show's misleading premise to ensure their participation. In a manner reminiscent of a nursing home resident whose illusions are upheld by their caregivers, Tyson is perpetually reinforced in his self-image, not as a retired boxer, but as a vibrant and powerful force. At 58, he is persistently led to believe that he still commands the ring with the same intensity and menace as ever. In a similar vein, Jake Paul, whose life often feels like a perpetual reality TV spectacle, will inevitably succumb to the same delusion. He will come to see himself as a formidable force in the boxing world, convinced of his own prowess despite his scant training and his habit of stepping into the ring against opponents with minimal boxing experience. Jake Paul's professional boxing journey has largely been a parade of illusions and pretense, wrapped in the approval of yes men who parrot his desires and fueled by the quest for clout. Paul has been immersed in a fantasy not unlike the one currently shaping Mike Tyson's reality. On November 15th, both will enter the ring in a spectacle watched by millions, including those who claimed they'd avert their eyes. They'll lace up their boxing gloves and perform the rituals of fighters, one burdened by age, the other by a lack of skill, while together they rake in impressive sums of cash.
And smiling and shit.
Last press run for Mike when the fight was first on, you were tubby. Like, you were the tubbiest I've seen Jake, so I can't blame him for calling you tubby.
Peak male performance bod is fat.
The upcoming clash between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson has ignited a firestorm in the world of combat sports. This eagerly awaited, officially sanctioned boxing match is set to break from traditional norms, with bouts lasting just 2 minutes each, and the fighters donning larger than usual gloves. The heated debate surrounding the event has sparked even more intrigue. And with no pay-per-view fee to contend with, it's expected that the pair will draw an enormous audience. In 2020, when they headlined the same card against Nate Robinson and Roy Jones Jr., respectively, they were said to have racked up over 1.8 million pay-per-view purchases. Paul said, "I think that was like the 8th biggest ever. I think everyone would be happy with like 25 million. That would break the streaming record of the AFC game, the one before the Super Bowl, which was streamed on Peacock and got like 22 million live viewers. So if we beat that, everyone is going to be happy." Paul further added, "Maybe we're entering the streaming era of boxing, where it kind of goes back to being a free model. Before, everyone would watch on TV and they would just turn the channel and it'd be there. We might be going back to that with all the piracy issues, and it's insane that this will be the most watched fight ever." Naturally, such statistics spark skepticism, with critics contending that Tyson's age should disqualify him from stepping into the ring. At 58 and facing an opponent 31 years his junior, doubts abound about whether he's truly ready for the upcoming fight. But Paul has hit back at the critics, saying, "I don't get it at all, but I also don't understand people in general. People are dumber than a box of rocks, and I don't expect them to understand fighting in general." Paul and Tyson's match faced a postponement when Tyson suffered a severe ulcer flare-up while traveling. Medical experts recommended he pause his training and get urgent care. Despite this setback, Tyson remains resolute, insisting he will be fully prepared to compete, no matter what. "I'm beautiful, and I've been training," Tyson replied when asked by Bloody Elbow what his latest medical update was from doctors. He added, "I've been training for a while, 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and I'm okay to fight. I'm in camp right now." Despite a series of challenges and the relentless advance of age, Tyson continues to stand as one of the sport's most formidable legends. Even a single utterance from him can send shivers down the spines of those who hear it. While Jake Paul commanded the press conference with his audacious rhetoric, Tyson's every utterance ignited a fervent response from the New York audience. Amid Paul's most fervent tirades, Tyson unleashed one of the evening's most electrifying comebacks. "You better come in shape," he warned, before adding that, "your health depends on it." Paul scoffed at the decision to cut the rounds to 2 minutes instead of the standard 3, despite the match being sanctioned as a professional fight. In a bold move, Michael Bisping has vehemently condemned Jake Paul's forthcoming match against Mike Tyson, labeling it a travesty. He dismisses the fight as nothing more than a joke, a farce, and a downright disgrace to the sport of boxing. Bisping slams Paul as a pretender, accusing him of opting for the easiest route to fame. Yet, the question remains, at 58, can Tyson still deliver an unexpected win, or is this match simply a cash grab for the veteran fighter? Bisping didn't hold back, delivering a pointed critique of the fight and Jake Paul's involvement. He started by recognizing Tyson's past dominance, but was quick to highlight the reality that the man's almost 60. Bisping underscored that this Tyson is far from the fearsome fighter who once struck terror into his adversaries. Instead, he argued, "Jake, I hate to point out the obvious, that makes you look pathetic." Transitioning to the press conference, Bisping found Jake Paul's behavior especially troubling. Paul's comment to the booing crowd, "You're just like Mike Tyson, you were good 20 years ago," didn't sit well with Bisping. He saw it as Paul inadvertently admitting that the fight is lopsided. Bisping criticized Paul, saying, "You just admitted that you're going up against an old man, who is a legend of course, but he's not that guy anymore." Bisping didn't stop there. He went on to call Paul a disgrace to the combat world, adding, "You are a joke, you are a wannabe, you're a fake." For Bisping, this fight is nothing more than a lucrative payday, a stark departure from true athletic challenge. At the fervent press conference, Mike Tyson stood firm, undeterred by concerns over his age or past achievements. He confidently declared, "I'm doing this because I can. Who else can do it but me?" highlighting his unique position in the clash. In addition, Joe Rogan recently weighed in on the bout during a discussion with Russell Crowe. Rogan, voicing concerns over Tyson's well-being, also gave Jake Paul a word of caution regarding a specific element of the fight. Few fighters in boxing history have matched the sheer intimidation of Mike Tyson. At his peak, the former heavyweight champion was a whirlwind of power and aggression, striking terror into his opponents with an air of invincibility. However, time has moved on, and Tyson now faces an opponent 3 decades younger.
As a boxer,
Yeah.
terrifying. Even when I met him at one point back, backstage at the stadium at a fight, and I was like, I'm still terrified of you from watching you, But then that guy he started becoming, where he became more explorative and he was looking into what, the meaning of life and, having a smoke every now and then and stuff like that, I was like, I'm enjoying this, Mike.
Yeah.
I'm liking the evolution.
Despite his rigorous training and preparation, there's a rising belief that Tyson may find it challenging to contend with this younger rival, who once captivated audiences as a social media influencer. Crowe shared his optimism for both fighters, emphasizing their safety and hoping they would escape injury. He wished for the bout to transcend the circus-like hype that surrounded it, recognizing it as a genuine match and hoping that both competitors would perform admirably without any harm coming to them.
And I'm just not sure he needed to do it,
Yeah. He's the reason why this table's so wide.
Why is that?
Because I was going to make the table more narrow and be closer to the guests. I had him on once.
Rogan, known for his outspoken nature, wasted no time sharing his views on the matter. While he admitted that the idea sounded appealing, he was quick to temper expectations, suggesting it's unlikely to come to fruition. The 57-year-old commentator emphasized that both fighters will be going all out when they face off in the ring. Tyson seemed intensely motivated for the fight, prompting Rogan to caution Paul that the outcome could swing either way. Jake Paul might find out that even at 58, Mike Tyson remains a fearsome contender, or he could realize that despite their appearances, 58-year-olds are still just that, 58-year-olds.
8-year-old men are 58-year-old men, no matter what they look like. Right. And Jake Paul is a 28-year-old athlete in the prime of his life.
Yeah.
It was a real...
if you just do it to yourself, right?
The JRE host had consistently voiced doubts about Tyson accepting the fight, emphasizing the significant age difference between the two fighters as a primary concern. In a discussion with Crowe, he delved into other elements that could further complicate Tyson's match against Paul. At 27, Jake Paul has already made a significant mark in the boxing world. Despite a career that's still in its early stages, his impressive speed and knockout power have caught the attention of many, including Joe Rogan. Recently, Paul delivered a standout performance, defeating Mike Perry, who had been undefeated in his last 5 BKFC fights, with a decisive 6th-round victory. Paul knocked Perry down 3 times during the bout, solidifying his win. Rogan's main concern now is whether Tyson can handle the pressure for the full duration of the fight. During his conversation with Crowe, the UFC commentator pondered whether Tyson, at his age, could keep up with a 28-year-old fighter who is at the top of his game and currently winning legitimate boxing matches. In the world of boxing, age plays a crucial role, as the capacity to endure powerful punches tends to decline over the years. Paul, for example, has showcased his skill by knocking out several former UFC fighters, a feat discussed in episode 2191 of the Joe Rogan Experience. Rogan has consistently praised Paul, highlighting his victories over former UFC world champions like Tyron Woodley. He also commended Paul's impressive showing against Tommy Fury, a legitimate boxer, calling it a highly competitive match. Rogan underscored that Paul is a genuine fighter with real skill.
Good fight with Tommy Fury, who's a legitimate boxer, which was a very good fight. He just beat up Mike Perry, who's a bare-knuckle champion.
After declaring himself fully recovered from his recent illness, Tyson confronted his rival on stage immediately following the press conference, their faces inches apart. The former undisputed heavyweight champion asserted his dominance by shoving Paul backward with force. However, the younger YouTube star, 30 years his junior, retaliated without hesitation. Earlier, Tyson had insisted he would put an end to Paul's foray into boxing. "We've got a YouTuber fighting the greatest fighter who ever lived. He may have been in the ring with people who have the same intentions, but in actuality, no." Paul is facing criticism for agreeing to fight Tyson, who is now 58. Critics point out that Tyson hasn't been in the ring since a lackluster exhibition match against Roy Jones Jr. in 2020, which took place without an audience. Tyson's last official bout was nearly 2 decades ago, when he infamously quit on his stool after just 5 rounds against Kevin McBride. Paul has secured an impressive 10 wins out of 11 professional fights, often defeating seasoned MMA legends like Ben Askren, Tyron Woodley, Anderson Silva, and Nate Diaz. His only loss came last year against Tommy Fury, a more formidable opponent. Paul has promised a climactic and savage conclusion to their fight, declaring it a historic clash. He threw down the gauntlet to those who predicted his defeat, asking how they would react when it was Mike Tyson who hit the canvas instead. While Paul acknowledged Tyson's ominous warnings of a deadly reckoning, he emphasized that their once friendly bond has now transformed into a fierce rivalry. Setting respect aside, Paul vowed to deliver a knockout punch, paving the way for a dramatic showdown where only one will be left standing.
They'll never give me credit. That's the way it is. That's the way it is. If I was walking on water, they would say it's because I couldn't swim. And this is to make history. If people think I'm going to get knocked out by this strong, powerful guy, all the people in my comments saying, look at his power, he's going to get KO'd. People are yelling at me in the event. But what happens when I put this man to sleep? This is not a joke. He's saying that it's going to be my funeral. He's saying it's going to be my wake. He's going to kill Jake Paul, all of these things. And that's why I love Mike, I respect him, but we're not friends anymore. Until November 15th, I'm knocking this motherfucker out, and we're going to see who's dead. We will see who's dead.
Amidst the doubt and speculation, the eagerly awaited showdown is on track to command enormous attention and rake in impressive revenue, with tickets vanishing faster than ever. With Netflix as the global stage, this event is set to mesmerize viewers around the world. Paul stands unwavering in his confidence, boldly declaring that he will cement his legacy with a knockout triumph over the iconic Tyson. At the press conference, the air crackled with anticipation as Jake Paul and Mike Tyson engaged in a verbal sparring match, intensifying the excitement for their showdown. Tyson, who started off with a light-hearted demeanor, quickly transitioned to a more aggressive stance, launching sharp jabs at the 27-year-old Paul. He taunted Paul's youth and inexperience, dismissively referring to him as just a kid.
Is he really a young killer?
Yeah, you had to go on your little menopause break and postpone the fight, so yeah. What about that, dog? I was ready before. You needed a little break. Your tummy hurt? Your tummy hurt still?
I feel a lot better now.
Make sure to check out some of our other videos on the screen if you enjoyed this one.